Have you ever been scrolling online and seen one of those posts, you know the ones, claiming your favorite rapper literally sold their soul to the devil? We're talking secret societies, pyramids, devils, all of it. Well, hip-hop has been right in the middle of these wild conspiracy theories for years. So let's actually get into it and figure out what's really going on behind the music and all these myths.
I mean, this is the big question, right? It's the ultimate clickbait headline, the thing that sends you down a 3-hour YouTube rabbit hole at 2 in the morning. For decades, people have looked at the dark imagery in rap videos and asked that same thing. Is this just, art, or is there something way more sinister happening?
And let me tell you, these theories get incredibly specific. You'll see posts connecting Jay-Z's Rockefeller label to the Rockefellers, a family that's always at the center of Illuminati conspiracies. It's that kind of evidence that just pours gasoline on the fire online, connecting dots that, well, may or may not actually be there.
And then for some people, the interpretation is way more direct. It's not about symbols and clues. It's a straight-up spiritual battle. You see posts like this all the time, warning listeners about what they see as a purely demonic influence in the music. It just goes to show how deeply some people feel about this.
Okay, so to really understand what's happening, we got to pull back the curtain on these viral claims. Are we actually looking at some massive hidden conspiracy, or is this really just a case of massive misinterpretation? Let's unpack it.
First things first, it's so important to know that these themes are not new, not at all. In fact, they go all the way back to the very beginning of hip-hop. So to get to today's controversies, we have to rewind a bit.
Believe it or not, this whole thing started out as just fun. In the absolute classic Rapper's Delight from 1979, the Sugar Hill Gang playfully mentions Dracula. This wasn't some dark ritual. It was just drawing from pop culture, using classic movie monsters to add a little spice to their party rhymes.
But that playful vibe? Yeah, it didn't last. That simple name drop in '79 evolved into something way, way darker by the '90s with the birth of horrorcore. And by 1995, you had groups like 3-6 Mafia building this entire Southern Gothic world, using all this supernatural imagery to talk about the very real, gritty struggles of life in Memphis.
And this is a really key point. Horrorcore wasn't just about scary monsters for the sake of it, no. It was this fusion of gangster rap's raw energy with the themes you'd see in a horror movie. It became a way for artists to process real-world trauma, stuff like urban violence, but through this shocking, supernatural lens.
So that brings us right to the heart of this whole debate. Why? Why are artists using this imagery? Is it a genuine belief in the occult? Is it a form of rebellion? Or is it all just theater, a ritual designed to get our attention? Let's try and decode what's really going on. Why not go straight to the source, right? The producers from 3-6 Mafia, the pioneers of this dark sound, have flat out denied being into actual Satanism. They've explained that the whole aesthetic was actually inspired by their own church backgrounds and that they used it as a tool. A way to portray this world of debauchery and get a reaction, not because it reflected their actual beliefs.
And here's a perfect example of how symbols get completely misread. When you see artists like the Wu-Tang Clan or Nas using all these esoteric symbols, it often has absolutely nothing to do with the Illuminati. A lot of the time, it's rooted in the teachings of the 5% Nation, a black nationalist movement with its own unique blend of Islam, numerology, and symbolism, all for cultural empowerment.
It's also so important to understand why these conspiracies feel so real to so many people. They don't just pop up out of nowhere. They grow from a long, painful history of real injustice. From the FBI's COINTELPRO program that targeted black leaders to decades of bias against black music. That historical distrust creates the perfect fertile ground for theories about powerful, shadowy forces to take hold.
All right, so let's get specific. We're going to put the popular accusations right next to the artistic reality for some of hip-hop's biggest names, from the OGs to today's superstars.
So here's the basic conflict right here. On one side, the accusation is that artists are making literal deals with the devil for fame and fortune. But on the other side, the artistic reality is that these symbols are tools in their toolbox. They're used for everything, from pure shock value and marketing to powerful social commentary and even exploring personal trauma.
And when we look at the pioneers, a really clear pattern starts to show up. 3-6 Mafia used devil imagery for shock. Bone Thugs and Harmony admitted that their whole Ouija board thing was to get attention, not something they actually did. Even Prodigy from Mobb Deep, who did believe in conspiracies, always made a point to separate the facts from the fiction in his rhymes.
And you see that exact same pattern with today's biggest stars. Jay-Z's pyramid hand sign, it's seen as an artistic brand, not proof he's in the Illuminati. Lil Nas X isn't a Satanist. He famously used satanic imagery as a brilliant way to critique cultural homophobia.
And Doja Cat's whole demonic persona, that was a rebellious move to push back against what fans expected of her.
So this is the really crucial part. A lot of modern artists aren't just using these symbols anymore. They're actively reclaiming them. They're taking this controversial imagery and totally flipping the script, turning it from something negative into a tool for empowerment.
I mean, Lil Nas X is the perfect example of this. In his Montero video, he literally descends into hell and gives Satan a lap dance. He took the ultimate symbol of damnation and completely transformed it into this powerful, unapologetic statement about Black queer identity. He was challenging the very religious systems that condemned him.
So when you put it all together, it's pretty clear that artists use this imagery for a ton of reasons that have very little to do with actual devil worship. It's a way to explore trauma, to rebel, to challenge norms, to put on a show, and maybe most importantly, to give a powerful voice to people and experiences that are usually pushed to the side.
Now, of course, this isn't some open and shut case. This topic is always going to be debated. And while the evidence really points to these symbols being artistic tools for exploring really complex stuff like oppression and identity, at the end of the day, how you see a piece of art often just comes down to your own personal point of view.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big thought. When art is this controversial, who really gets to decide what it means? Is it the artist who made it? Is it the audience that consumes it and gives it their own meaning? Or, in the world we live in now, is it the algorithm that just pushes the most shocking viral interpretation right to the top? It's something to think about the next time you see a demon in a music video.